and I'll never back down. In the middle of the ring is where I lay the smack down. Against all odds, I will always prevail. So when you step to me, it's like hell in a cell.
Greetings and salutations, this is Christopher Daniels. I'm talking to my main man Delzinski right now. Any video game show, any video game channel, any YouTube channel called Vintage Shizzle is indeed hashtag Daniels approved.
Yo, alright guys, Delzinski here and welcome to another We Talk. Of course it's We Talk Wednesday, of course we're Bagwell approved, of course we're Daniels approved, and I am joined as always by a very much grumpy Professor Weeds.
You alright mate? You well? No
very...
Lesnar on Raw.
Well, I think everybody was disappointed in that, and I have to say, you know, it's becoming a custom. I thought he had a new contract. I thought we'd see him more often now.
Well, don't mind him not turning up, but his bloody advocate doesn't even turn up now either.
No Walrus either on Monday Night Raw. Very, very disappointing, but I'm sure you will, as always, cover this in your Raw roundup. Yes, it's becoming...
I'll cheer up.
Oh, Raw cheer up, is it now? Are you going to cheer us up, really?
No.
Okay. So, obviously, we're going to maybe briefly talk over Night of Champions. Then we'll have our Raw Roundup, as always, by the Professor. And then we'll talk about something that's kind of getting on a lot of people's nerves. The WWE official commentary team. Because that team just doesn't necessarily work anymore, and that's being polite about it.
Well, it's getting so bad that it's actually passing over onto their clothing now as well, so yes, it's not good.
Yeah, it's just I mean, I was watching Night of Champions, saw lots of live tweets, everybody bashing the commentators big time in terms of, you know, how they put over the product, all this promotion of pointless things like Mount Dew. Well, it's not really pointless, but $9.99, we get a bit sick of that as well. And yeah, well, we will cover that later on. And last but not least, something actually to cheer everybody up. The WWE 2K15 gameplay trailer was released, and it was pretty damn epic.
It does look awesome. That is one that I have already got on my to-buy list. Probably both versions, because we are getting it slightly later, us PS4 and Xbox One users. But yeah, I'll definitely be getting both of those.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be an expensive October and November, that's for sure.
Right, so what are we kicking off with?
Sounded like you were limbering up there to do your Raw review, but we're not quite ready for that yet.
I just took my deep breath and everything. So, Night of Champions, I know you've covered it extensively already, haven't you, on your channel?
Yeah, well, I actually thought it was okay. I didn't think it was anything special. I didn't think it was anything bad. I just thought it was average. The main event, a lot of people sort of not happy with the way that Cena came back very strong, but I think that it made a bit of a difference. If it had just been a squash, I probably wouldn't have been... It would have been the same old from SummerSlam. So I think I could understand why WWE took that route, but I wasn't too impressed with the shoddy ending. I think screwy endings like that on pay-per-views don't really get the job done.
It's a bit Derbia, wasn't it?
It was.
No, I agree. I quite like the pay-per-view, and I enjoyed most of the matches. I thought they were all quite action-packed. It's good to see a few title changes, some more odd than others, which I'll come on to in my roundup shortly. But yeah, the main event. I liked the main event up until the Rollins kind of butt in. I thought it was great that Cena got in the offense that he did, but it didn't really seem to make a lot of difference with Lesnar. Lesnar, either way, was dominating that match, and it was only when he kind of took his eye off the ball that Cena was able to get across what he did. So I think it shows another side to John Cena at the same time, that obviously they're going with that kind of, you know, Cena has got different things in the locker. But at the same time, for Lesnar, it shows the guy took 4 AAs and we'll never know if he was pinned, but he hadn't been pinned with 3, had he? So no, I thought it didn't damage either of them up into the point where, you know, if you're going to have Rollins come out, don't do what they do on Raw and have no cash in and tease it. If you're going to do it on a pay-per-view, follow through with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the big talking points for a lot of people is, did it damage Lesnar? Because obviously Lesnar's been so powerful, so dominant as of late, and then Cena's come back so strong into that match, and hitting him with 4 AAs. A lot of people sort of say, well, is that good that Lesnar, almost powered out of all of them? He obviously didn't get pinned on the 3rd one because he put him in the STFU. I'm not going to call it whatever it's called now. I'm going to call it the original name. But he got put in that and he didn't get pinned. And, a lot of people sort of think, well, does that mean that Lesnar was strong because he withstained all that and got up an F5 John Cena? Or does it make him look weak that actually Cena got the better of him in this match because he couldn't even pull off one single F5 in that main event?
I was going to say, the best thing about that match was I think you predicted it straight off the bat that Cena would be hitting the AA within a minute of the match beginning. I was sitting there going, yes, smart ass, he knows everything.
Yes.
But no, I was very much in the former camp of what you were just saying. Basically, I thought Lesnar, it was another string to his bow that he came across, as he was able to take an awful lot of punishment as well. For me, the only thing that really damaged him was it was the Rollins thing. And I don't suppose that damages Lesnar, but you at least need him to turn up or have his advocate on Raw the next night. Just going into Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, because we got nothing decided for that so far. So yeah, it's only a month away, that pay-per-view. It's obviously one of the marquee, well, not one of the big 4, but one of the marquee ones. Anytime you stick the Hell in a Cell cage in the mix, and it would be nice to know where we're going, because I haven't got a Scooby-Doo at the moment.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was thinking as well, what was kind of that match, it was very physical. That was the bit that I enjoyed about it. It did feel like a fight, and it felt like kind of the old sort of UFC kind of style. That was good, but going out of it for Rollins interfering, you would have expected most definitely a reaction from either Heyman or Lesnar, even just a confrontation between Triple H and Paul Heyman. Heyman saying, you put us in the position, you gave us the keys, we took it, we picked up the belt, and now you're trying to cash in. I mean, what's going on there? I wanted to see a real heated confrontation between Heyman and Triple H, but it seems like maybe Lesnar's giving him a pass at the moment. Or just couldn't be asked to turn up.
Yeah, well, it's probably more likely it's the last one. But I think hopefully, as long as we get that addressed next week on Raw, the only reason I did actually I suppose, looking at the other half of, if you want to have Rollins suddenly, he curbstones Lesnar and then we leave it quite ambiguous to what that ending is obviously they've got to move more people up into the main event. We've said they're kind of struggling, well, not struggling, but the people like Batista have gone. Randy Orton's there, but we're already sick of seeing that time and time again. Not that there's anything wrong with Randy Orton, obviously, but you need to start moving people up. And the only danger they were getting with Cena and Lesnar is that they were putting them in a whole class above everybody else on that roster. So you had to start throwing more into the mix, I think. So that's probably the only good reason that perhaps we saw. That's the only positive, I suppose, I can take out of the way they did choose to end it. And the way I actually see them going towards in the Hell in a Cell is you're probably going to have some kind of 6-man Hell in a Cell match with Cena, Ambrose, distinctly on one side, the Authority, Orton, Kane and Rollins maybe on the other side, and then the bomb that is Brock Lesnar as the kind of ticking time bomb, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, right in the center of it all. So that's kind of what I would maybe like to see going into Hell in a Cell.
It's a pretty good concept. They won't do that.
Yeah, let's not do that then. It's WWE. Let's book something else. Let's put Big Show in.
Yeah, what you said was a very good concept, and I think that would be a bit different from the WWE to go and stick. We haven't seen a huge Hell in a Cell match where you've got lots of participants in quite a while, and I think that would work. I
remember the first one. I think it was it Rikishi? He went off the top of the cage from Taker back into some kind of truck. I think it was it was like a late December pay-per-view. I can't remember what it was exactly, but there was a 6-man Hell in a Cell then. So I was just thinking maybe something along that sort of concept again would be quite good. And you kind of need that kind of ace up your sleeve for WWE, where you need them. We've said about it time and time again that you're not quite sure what's going to happen.
They won't take bumps off the top of the cell anymore.
Well, I don't know. I've had people diving off the top of the cage. It's only a couple of feet further up.
Just got a feeling they won't. Just
land on JBL. Do everyone a favour.
Well, that kind of leads us, I think, into the Raw review or the Raw roundup, because I'm sure you're gonna. Oh, cheer up! I'm sure you're gonna cover it in there. But I mean, Michael Cole's suit,
spectacular. Where do you get that?
I don't know. Ask him.
I
ain't got one like that.
I was like 1955. I swear I saw that suit in Back to the Future.
It was terrible.
It was awful. It made me feel a little bit ill.
Usually the King's the one that wears the horrendous clothes, but Michael Cole excelled himself this week.
Yeah, King's tight t-shirts, JBL's face, and now Cole's suits. Change the team.
Yes. Okay.
Where's Renee Young?
Oh, well, yeah, everyone's been saying that for a long time. That did you I don't know if you noticed this, but I did send a tweet to good old JR, and I did get a response from him. I asked him, did he think that one day Renee Young would be on the commentary team, the main commentary team, like Raw and SmackDown? And he put, I think it was something he said like, most definitely, she's a pro. So, I mean, she's getting the endorsement now from good old JR. So surely it's only a matter of time. She seems to be taking over many of the things. So, she's doing the, the previews. She's doing the after shows, the before shows.
Some in-ring stuff. Anything they give her, she doesn't have a problem with.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't think she's going to have an issue at all going on to that commentary team. But can you ever see that commentary team change? I think we will cover this. We're jumping ahead of ourselves at the moment.
As we are prone to do every now and then.
Yes. Calm down. Okay.
Too excited.
Exactly. That gameplay trailer. Oh, starting again. So let's do it then. Let's count you in. What would you like today? Would you like a Bagwell approved, or would you like a Daniels approved?
We'll go Daniels approved today.
We'll go Daniels approved. Okay then. Let's count this down in 3, 2, 1, go!
Well, following on from Night of Champions, we have a very, very pissed off Dean Ambrose in the ring to start off the show. Out comes Cena, and it feels quite a lot like this Raw is going to be the Dean Ambrose / Seth Rollins show. Like we've said before, are they being moved up into that main event? It appears they are. Tag team champs, again, are on the show. Surprise, surprise, another bugbear of mine. They are in a 6-man tag team match. This is where the ranting starts. Ziggler won the belt back the night after. Does that make any sense? Why the hell do you drop it on the pay-per-view if you're just going to give it straight back to him the night after? Mark Henry failed again against Rusev, and JBL is really starting to piss me off. Total Divas section again. If you're going to keep promoting it, please do it somewhere else that is not Raw. Put it on main event or SmackDown. Just not on the middle of Raw, just when it keeps going, and it just kind of detracts from everything else they're trying to do. Otherwise, Divas fine. No Heyman or Lesnar after the pay-per-view. That's very, very odd, and it's very, very strange thing to do for me.
I kind of forgot to tell you that it was Daniels approved.
So how far did I go over? Because I felt like I was waffling towards the end there, Delzinski. I reckon I'm in a good 10 seconds over.
I was so enthralled by your review this week that I completely forgot.
I didn't miss out shit this week.
You was 107 this week.
107, that's your fault.
I know.
I'd have been bang on because I was waffling about Total Divas again.
Ah,
one of my big bugbears. Did you know Natalia is not very happy with Summer Rae? Apparently, she is trying to steal TJ away from her. Can you believe it? I couldn't. Fast forward, please. Ran over. I'm calmed down now.
Yeah. At least I listen, you see. At least it proves I do listen to your review.
Yeah, sat there all buggy-eyed going, oh, I didn't want Heyman either. But no Heyman, very odd, wasn't it? Very, very odd that he was there. There's rumours circulating about that Lesnar's got health problems. You know, tell us something we don't know already. As I think you said to me pre-show today, he's had stomach problems in the UFC. It kept him out of a couple of fights there. Lesnar and health problems aren't anything new, really, are they? I mean, he does sweat an awful lot for a very big man.
Yeah, and for a guy that quite oftenly says that he'd go back to UFC possibly one more time. If he really had that bad issues at the moment, I very much doubt he'd even look at that. So
the only place he's going is KFC, not UFC, mate.
Oh dear,
he wouldn't survive 2 minutes in UFC now.
Oh wait! How dare you? How dare you diss the beast? You really are in a bad mood.
I am in a bad mood, aren't I? So, what did you think of Raw? Ziggler thing make any sense to you?
No, it really kind of annoys me when they do those title changes. You know, it's quite good that they're trying to build a feud between the two, the back and forth. But done it not devalue the belt tremendously to just have it go back and forth, dropping it left, right, and centre? And it's not even done in a very clever way. I mean, it was like that roll up, and
got the same finish twice.
Yeah, I quite like Sandow as obviously Damien Mizdow. That's very funny, but there's not a lot of credibility still to this rivalry and Dolph Ziggler. I mean, how many more times are you going to pick up a belt and just drop it instantly? I mean, he's done that so many times. Why not just give him a credible reign and, you know, get him in a feud and he retains the belt and it's back and forth, you know, and build to a pay-per-view. Stop having them fight on Raw, which devalues the match on the pay-per-view. They did it a couple of weeks ago. Well, it was it wasn't lucky, but with Roman Reigns, when they had Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, obviously Roman Reigns didn't hit the pay-per-view, but they had the match on Raw.
For a whole wider set of issues, and hopefully he'll get well soon, because it sounds like it's going to be out for a few months. But it's like you're saying, it doesn't make any sense. And it does really, I don't know, as a wrestling traditionalist that I am, it does piss me off at times. The only other thing I wanted to see in that feud was Sandow involved, maybe a little bit more. If you're going to put the belt on someone different, put it on him.
Yeah, well, Sandow, we've always said on We Talk that we think there's a lot more for Sandow out there, and just being, you know, like a roadie to The Miz, I mean, it's a good start to maybe introduce him back into the frame. But, I mean, at some point you've got to think that he's going to turn on The Miz, or The Miz is going to turn on him. But that's not good for Sandow, because Sandow is a good heel, and I don't want to see him face, because I think he's a brilliant heel.
But that fake IC title he had was hilarious. It was like the quarter size version of what the Miz was. That had me in stitches watching that. So yeah, that's the only disappointing thing, that's gone straight back to Ziggler, and our Ziggler disappeared. So yeah, he's out.
Yeah, it's just stupid things like that. Someone's had a novelty thought, oh, why not stick R-Truth with Dolph Ziggler, and that is for a real cheap reason. I think we all know what that reason is. It's completely ridiculous what they've done there. And then, you know, once it's done, they just kind of move away from it like it never happened.
They wash it over at some point and say, look, Vince, you know that was a great idea when you're having that protein shake where you want our Ziggler and Dolph Ziggler together. It's a little bit racist. And he's gone, is it? No, it's not. Yes, yeah, it is, Vince. It's really racist. Okay, let's drop that. Our Ziggler doesn't exist. He's R-Truth again. Bring him back next week. He's on main event.
I think you forgot the most important bit. He probably just turned around and went, "You're fired," and then moved on.
Be like, my idea? That was never my idea. That was Triple H.
So yeah, it's you know, they have those stupid little ideas. And I think, again, to add to it, did anyone listen to the commentary at Night of Champions? And when they do commentary on these sort of things, it's very for a company that likes to be PG-ified. They're quite willing to push the boundaries in these elements. However, they won't do it in the ring, like letting wrestlers have, you know, their own moveset. And they water all that shit down.
Seriously, when Lesnar had that nosebleed, I thought we were going to get the doctor out, match stop for 5 minutes, smear a load of Vaseline over him so he stops bleeding out. You can't have blood in a WWE match. For Christ's sake, what's going on?
I thought I was going to have to watch it in black and white. Go back to the Stone Age. I mean, because that's what something they would do. So it's just, yeah. I mean, the Ziggler Miz thing. Okay, it's a rivalry. Very good. We want rivalries, but the Intercontinental Championship to me still has no, and I mean no relevance still. There's no credibility to that belt. No matter how much they try at the moment, it's not happening.
And that's what the shame is about Raw, because again, as I said in the roundup, you've got the tag team champs, newly crowned tag team champs, Gold and Stardust, who we've been waiting to have the belts for a while, with Cesaro, who obviously missed out at Night of Champions, against Sheamus, who's, you know, had a great match, I thought, with Cesaro at Night of Champions, very hard hitting, exactly what we thought it would be, and the Usos. So why are we seeing all these champions in, you know, two champions, the tag and the US title in a 6-man tag team match again? It's just a waste of what they're trying to do with the company, especially when you got the Usos, who are, I thought the match they had with Gold and Stardust was great at Night of Champions. So let the bloody tag team title at least go in you know, just a typical tag team match.
Why didn't they just let the Ascension rock up and confront Goldust and Stardust? That would have been a good way to introduce the Ascension and also put over, you know, that the tag belts are worthwhile. You know, like you say, sticking them in a 6-man tag, it takes complete focus off of the belts, and you're just wondering again, oh, another 6-man tag. Do you know what it is? It feels sometimes like they just don't know what to do with their time, and they have a hell of a lot of time to work with this stuff, and they don't seem to utilise it at all. And
going back to the Night of Champions, as soon as I think Cole referenced when they won it, I was like, oh, well, they're losing it then. you know, he said, oh, they won it from the New Age Outlaws, and they won it back in May or whenever it was. And so I was like, okay, well, that's that ruined. I assume that's disappearing over to them tonight. And it goes back to some of the issues with the commentary, which I'm sure we'll come on to. So I suppose moving on, you got the Mark Henry segment, obviously lost at Night of Champions, the banged up angle. He never really even got going. He wouldn't let Rusev in the ring to start off with, and I thought Lana did a great job on Raw again. Does help that I am staring her for a vast majority of the time.
Can't even get your words out.
I can't, not when I'm thinking about Lana. But it's just, you know, I know that's what they're going for with JBL, and you know, he did threaten to clothesline a woman, which was nice as part of that angle.
PG there. PG.
But you know, if JBL, if he's going to keep running his mouth off, and if this is an angle or just something he decides he's saying on commentary, let him have a go with Rusev.
Yeah, because you picked up on it. I mean, I'm sure a lot of other people have. This whole bashing of anybody that loses to Rusev. I mean, JBL is so OTT on it. I mean,
he's not living in America with James Brown.
Well, it's like they're a disgrace to the country. You know, like you say, maybe that's it. Maybe JBL needs to come back and fight Rusev. But that would be a massive disappointment if he's the guy to stop Rusev, wouldn't it? After all of this,
I assume it's going to be. I assume Rusev is now moving on to Big Show, probably.
That's not a step up; that's a step down.
I don't know what step you got to get round Big Show some way, so it's sideways at some point.
But that's it, isn't it? That's it.
It was good, and it's just so deflating. And then when you've got, I don't know if they're just trying to make the fans completely angry, because I thought you had Lillian Garcia obviously singing the national anthem, Mark Henry in tears before it started, and I thought, you know, this is great what they're actually doing. And then he basically got a few blows in, and then got the shit kicked out of him for the next 10 minutes by Rusev. So. Yeah, you know, and then JBL's rubbing not just salt, dirt, anything he can find into the wound afterwards. So I would like someone, if Mark Henry did put JBL into the Hall of Pain, I would actually quite like that.
I think everyone would. But
stick that cowboy hat somewhere where the sun don't shine.
That's the problem, though. That whole issue is every time Rusev moves on. I mean, bar Jack Swagger, he's moving on to guys that really, you know, they're past their best, and going on to Big Show, I think that's a step down from Mark Henry. So, and like you say, you've got to get around the Big Show. That's what it does feel like a lot in WWE. You have to go through these guys that are like journeymen now, like the Big Show, who's been around a long time, And look, fair play to the Big Show for his career. He's done very well. But these days, nobody takes that seriously. And unfortunately, that's the sort of guy that they pair up Rusev with. No one's interested in that feud. If you stick Rusev in a feud with Roman Reigns, we saw that a few weeks back, people are interested in something like that. And you know, WWE keep going on about, you know, a lot of talk around WWE is that they go back to the old guys. I think everybody realises that they have to move on to the young guys, apart from someone in WWE, which I have to say is probably Vince McMahon by looking at the way that Triple H treats NXT. So it just feels, it just amazes me that they can't take a hit. You know, they can't step down to move forward, and I mean they have to step down in terms of the overall production side, in the money of, you know, putting all their investment in guys like Mark Henry, Big Show. Go in with these younger guys, take a hit and wait and let it go out, and then you'll have these guys established instead.
Well, for me, if you want, I completely agree, to be honest, with everything you just said, because it does detract from what they're trying to do, particularly when you're trying to build someone like Rusev up, because it's like, oh, you know, you bring back in Jericho, well, he's going to go over him, isn't he? Like it was with Bray Wyatt. What I would do with Rusev at this point is this is a very massive American thing, you know, and I think we potentially said putting him with Cesaro before as some kind of stable. I would have Rusev take the US title off Sheamus and give that, and then, you know, at least that's something for them to strive again. It gives the US title relevance at the same time as Rusev's relevance, and that's kind of where I would move Rusev rather than a feud with the Big Show. I'd move him towards a national title at this point, but they don't seem to do that with these guys, do they?
Would he rebrand the belt?
Yeah, that would be great. You know, he's going to, even not calling it US title, I don't like your champions from Harley Race onwards, because they obviously Night of Champions covered an awful lot of history when it came to those belts. So it would be like him spitting on what was US wrestling history from everyone from Sting onwards, you know, rebrand the belt. That would be, you know, a great angle for wrestling, an old school wrestling angle. Dare I say that, you know, WWE may do something like that. But that's what I would do. I'd move him towards the US title.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the best ideas you've ever had on We Talk.
Right there with my 6-man Hell in the Cell. Yeah. I'm on fire today,
you
mate.
Are
I'm on fire.
Well, I would say that
I started drinking early.
I would like to see that. I think that is probably one of the best ideas I've heard in a long time. Yes, Sheamus and Rusev. Guys, let us know what you think of that idea. I definitely would like to see that, and I'd love to see maybe Rusev repackage the belt, just to get that general heat. That would be great. So I think we've covered the main elements of Raw. I mean, I think we all know it wasn't that great this week. Obviously, like you say, it was the Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins show. Need we say much more on that?
No, I refuse to talk about Total Divas. If I want to watch Total Divas, I will watch Total Divas. So no, I'm done. I'm done. I've got no intention of watching Total Divas. But just one last point on Raw. As you've said, they've told us the price so many times. It's $9.99. It's meant to be launching in the UK apparently within the week. Do you think we're going to see it, mate?
No network.
No network over here is our current We Talk prediction. I'm going to hold out a little bit of hope until October the 1st, because I really, really want to subscribe to that network so I can start watching some of the old pay-per-views.
Yeah, and I think we're going to move on to the commentary team now. But I think, like what you're saying there, I don't know if you guys in the US, obviously you guys have got the full-on network, so you get it on your app, you get it, on your iPad, your iPhone. I think you get it on your PlayStations, your Xboxes, and you get it across everything, off all platforms, obviously for $9.99. But when we're looking at getting it over here, it's very, very mysterious what we're actually going to get. At the moment, it sounds like we're going to get the same package that you guys have got, but we don't know whether or not, in terms of price, what that's going to be. But also, on the other hand, we have got Sky over here, and we have Sky Sports, and Sky Sports take all of the pay-per-views, probably like the major networks in the US. Now, interestingly enough, there's now talk that we will potentially just get a channel which is embedded in Sky. And for me, that is not acceptable because that's not a network.
No, it would suck if we get that, and I still don't think we will get that, which I suppose where we slightly differ. I'm still hoping for the US version of the WWE Network. Because if it is a channel and you can't download the content, like the old pay-per-views and stream those, it would be kind of pointless, and I won't be subscribing to it if it is like that. But no, that's the point, is that they said over here October launch. Obviously it's been launched in some other territories outside the US since, but we're a week away and we're none the wiser. We don't know how much it's going to be, how it's going to be delivered, and what's actually going to be on it. So I don't know, for a multi-million-pound company, that strikes me again, probably what the UK's got to be their second largest customer base worldwide. Strikes me as a little bit odd, considering they're probably holding out in the UK, getting quite a lot of subscribers to boost some of those subscription numbers that are apparently falling short at the moment.
Yeah, and the trouble is, and this does bring us on to the commentary team, is it's all good and well every single week the commentary team saying that it's $9.99 in the US. Now, they don't seem to really recognise that we don't have the WWE Network over here. And, you know,
it'll be £6.12 here.
We're watching the exact same product. We're watching the same show. So we're getting a hell of a lot. And if you imagine from the UK side, we're getting a hell of a lot of promotion stuff here that we haven't got, so we don't want to listen to that. And I think this is where we come on to the commentary team, because all of this sort of promotions, we've seen it on pay-per-views with, is it Mount Dew? You'll get this right. What is it?
Diet Dew.
Yes, one of them. You know,
it's bloody horrible, because I've tried it.
All of that stuff, I mean, it just devalues the product. It devalues the match. I think it was the Ziggler-Miz match, most definitely on Night of Champions, where they spent 90% promoting a band, you know, as opposed to calling the match. Call the match, call the moves. It's something that Joey Styles used to do, which obviously didn't go down very well. That's why he got moved to work on the WWE website. I mean, you know, you had a good colour commentator there. You've got guys like JR that you've moved on to other places and then ultimately walked away from the company. Why? And you've come to this team that you've got now where Jerry Lawler was always a good commentator as a heel. He's no longer a heel. He sits on the fence. And JBL, to be honest, never been that great a commentator. Just sort of looks like that he wanted to come back to the WWE, so they found him a spot. And Michael Cole, well, as for Michael Cole, I think everybody will agree that they've never quite understood why Michael Cole has been given, I mean, keys to the commentary team and literally able to run riot. Since he got that box, do you remember he was put in the box?
I left him in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the coal miners, all of that stuff. I mean, his ego must be huge. But I've watched interviews with him and obviously Triple H, and it does look like he's got a very good relationship with guys like Triple H. So I have this feeling that there's quite a lot of power when it comes to Michael Cole.
Well, just going on what you were saying, yeah, I get they want to have the inter-promotion of things, and it wasn't that bad when you used to have the start of a pay-per-view and it would be sponsored by Domino's or KFC or whatever it was, and that would be it. It wouldn't pop up every 10 seconds. Every time you got to the commentary team, you wouldn't have a bloody pepperoni pizza sitting there on the desk. They wouldn't be chomping pizza backstage while they're giving one a last-minute promo before they go out for a match. I think that the band they had this week, what was it, Florida Georgia Line? I don't really have so much of a problem with that. That was on. That was
Fozzy.
What was Fozzy on?
It was Fozzy. Florida Georgia that guy looked like Chris Jericho. It was a skinny version of Jericho.
I didn't have as much of a problem with that, because ultimately they were there to tell the guys that they were going to be, what was it, a tribute to the troops later on in the year. So that one's fine. And it was good they got them involved in the match. I mean, Florida Georgia Line over here for me and you is not really going to be something that we know about. Seems to be quite a big thing in America though at the moment. But yeah, for anyone outside the US, I'm not divulging where my music tastes like, but I'm not really familiar with what Florida Georgia Line is, but it seemed to be quite a big deal. But yeah, the product placement is ridiculous. Going back to what you were saying about Michael Cole, I think he is the untouchable. in that commentary team. I think the WWE kind of view him as a man of many kind of abilities to do or feel.
You were struggling there.
I'm trying to think of how to put this nicely without me over elaborating and saying he's too good, or on the other hand saying he's too bad. I think he ticks all the boxes of what they want their commentators to do. So he will call the matches if they want him to call a match. If they want him to talk about something within a match, he can talk about something in the match. If they want him to talk about a particular product, whether it's the network or Diet Dew or the King's hair or whatever it may be, he can do that. The problem with Michael Cole is he can do all those things, but he does them okay. He's not spectacular at any of them. When we go back to talking about the people you were talking, like Joey Styles, you want that man to call a match, he can call a match. Absolutely fantastic. You want him to emphasize a particular point. Same with JR. And you've only got to have a look at JR for some of the classic lines that he could come out with. And those guys could call a match. They could tell a story. And that's the problem with Michael Cole, is that he can do all these things, but I don't think he does any of them at the top kind of level you'd expect them to be done at. Now, I don't think he's helped either way by what sits either side of him. Because, as you said, Jerry Lawler sits on the fence so much that he's got splinters up his arse.
Yes, he does.
He's a heel at one point, and with Jerry Lawler, he's a heel when he feels like it. He's a babyface when he feels like that. But half the time, I don't even think he knows what time of day it is. When he's on commentary, he seems so confused by what's going on, and JBL and Michael Cole just seem to let him go on with it. JBL seems to be that kid at school that everyone seemed to hate, and you don't know why they hated him until you actually sat there and spoke to them, and you'd be like, yeah, that's why I hate you. It's because of everything you actually do. JBL is just, he was, I think initially when he came into that commentary team, it was something different. And I think that's why he's hung about as long as he, and he obviously gets on well with the WWE. In that commentary team, he's not working because he just says things to be an arse for the sake of being an arse most of the time. And if I'm sitting there thinking I would rather mute this than listen to JBL, that's probably not what WWE want me to do. If it goes back, for me, you just need a two-man commentary team. The best ones have always been like that, from Bobby the Brain and Gorilla Monsoon to Jim Ross and the King to Jesse Ventura and Gorilla. These are the two-man teams that I've always been familiar with, and that's what I think they should get to or go back to. You don't need a three-man team. If you're going to have people, you are going to stick with three. Maybe bring Renee Young and get her to do a bit more outside of the actual commentary at the same time. God, that was quite a long speech.
I know. It felt like
I'm done. I've taken all the oxygen out of the room.
Taking all the oxygen out of We Talk. I'm only joking. No, your points were very, very valid. And as I say, you are the professor, so you've given us your knowledge, which was great. And I think as well, what you've said there is the only issue that I find is that WWE tend to not like the two-man team anymore. The balance has completely become three, and you can see it on NXT. They've got three. I don't know. Why is three the magic number? Let us know via the comments box below. Why is that? I don't know.
You have to ask De La Soul.
Showing your music taste now.
There we go.
So, I mean, yeah, I think I wouldn't mind the commentary team if they were serious in the right moments. They completely spoiled the streak main event, the streak at WrestleMania, where they completely ruined it. I mean, they were telling the story that The Undertaker was already losing before he'd even hit the ring. I mean, they wanted us to either they were being told to say, The Undertaker is, fading away, but they put it over like you kind of felt that he was going to lose.
And it is that, and they've given stuff away, whether or not they mean to. But some of the stuff they say just doesn't make sense in the context that the way JBL talks, he talks as if he's still a wrestler.
Still wants to be.
Could you imagine? Because this is what he did all the build up from January to, the end of March when WrestleMania happened at the beginning, I think it was beginning of April, he referred to Daniel Bryan as a flying gnome, right? Could you imagine him referring to Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock or Triple H, not just as a flying gnome, obviously, because that wouldn't make any sense, but in a derogatory fashion, without them addressing it at some point?
Yeah, and that's part of the problem. Would you remember when a commentator used to say things, the actual superstar would usually go up to them and front it out, and that's, again, this is this whole PG thing. It's like, well, you wouldn't strike a commentator and stuff like that, but they're quite happy to sit on commentary and make derogatory comments. It's the balance, and it's someone's mentality. I always say it's someone's. You all know it's Vince, but it's Vince's mentality of what he can get away with, and I think he's got it completely wrong. He's so jaded when it comes to what people think they want to see. Yeah.
And that's it. I think that's it. It is the balance. And that's where I feel a little bit for Michael Cole, because I think he's being told to do so many things that it's impossible to please everyone. If he's not pleasing Vince, he's going to please the fans. But if he's not pleasing the fans, he's not pleasing Vince. But just getting that balance right. For me, JBL treats that commentary team the way he treated the Blue Meanie back at the ECW pay-per-view. He still is the same guy. He's the same bully guy that he's always tried to be. He's just a jerk, for want of a better phrase. I hate him.
That sums up your bad day, doesn't it?
Let's just get Ron Simmons back to kick the shit out
of
him.
Damn. I think everybody agrees. I don't think there's going to be many out there that are going to say, oh, do you know what? I think the commentary team are fantastic. I think everybody has got their gripes with the current commentary team. So what I maybe pitch to everybody listening this week is, what would be your dream team, commentary team at the moment? You can say anybody, past, present, name your three. Because we have to go with three, because that's the way WWE do it. But yeah, what would be your three that you'd have? I mean, you could have JR, Joey Styles, Paul Heyman. Blimey, that would be like a massive combustion.
Paul Heyman on commentary.
You could have Bobby the Brain, one of my favourites. You could have him paired up with Michael Cole. I don't think the Brain would like that too much.
Don't forget Tony Schiavone.
Tony Schiavone in there, that could be a three. Christ, that would be bizarre, wouldn't it? So, yeah, I mean, let us know via the commentary box below what guys you would like in your three dream team commentary team. So, what about Renee Young? Stick her in there as well.
Excuse me?
I was talking about personal things again.
Disgusting.
You lowered the tone this week. I've been very good this week.
You have behaved this week. I do applaud you.
So let's talk about something from
positive.
The commentary team's very disappointing at the moment, but this isn't disappointing in the slightest, because we didn't hear any commentary on this WWE 2K15 gameplay trailer, and
we did hear Kid Rock though.
We did hear Kid Rock, and even Kid Rock can't get away from the censorship of the WWE and the PG-ness. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed this. This is the last time I'm going to have a little dig at WWE and their PG.
They've taken a battering from us today,
yeah,
to be honest.
But 2K released a trailer, and it came out via IGN, and it was the trailer, the 100% trailer. You saw everything, unedited trailer, and then WWE posted the exact same video, and they took bits out because I think maybe, just maybe, Kid Rock says a few rather racy words.
He says some naughty words.
Yes, he does, and WWE don't like that unless you're in the commentary team. So I mean, yeah, it's annoying, but the overall trailer was great, and I think we got a very good game. It looks the stuff. I mean, for me, standout points, Triple H most definitely looks the real deal. The face technology, the scanning of the face just looks amazing. It looks almost real. Bray Wyatt and the Spider, and obviously, last but not least, the surprise of Sting being at the end. And funny story is, I actually stopped the trailer once it got to the end of the credit, and I was like, "There's no Sting." I was saying to my brother, "There's no Sting. I've been waiting for Sting all week," and then I pressed play again, and no, there he was.
And that was the rant over.
Yeah, so lucky I didn't make a video about that because I would have looked rather silly. What did you think of the trailer, Weeds?
One word: spectacular.
It looks good.
It is everything you just said, and however they've been. I don't know how this face scanning thing works and what they've done with the bodies, but from the gameplay that's been leaked out there to what we saw the official one this week, it's lifelike, and that's all you can ask really. Is where do you go from here? What I would applaud so far, based on this, obviously I want to play the game and hopefully get the chance to do that soon. Mm-hmm. But what I like, and I've always liked about 2K, is their attention to detail. And that was there in bucket loads in that trailer, from the Bray Wyatt walking backwards to like you were saying, the subtle looks that Triple H was giving, to how they actually had the cameras lined up. It was tweaked from last year, from slightly different angles, and it was exactly how they have them at a WWE live or a pay-per-view event. So no, for me the attention to detail was absolutely spot on from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, and when you say attention to detail, and it is the small things, I mentioned this in a commentary a little while ago, but it's things like Luke Harper having the little bandana hanging out the back of his pocket. That's there. And it's the face texture of like a Sting, where obviously they did do the face scan, but it's the difference of face paint to possibly a gold dust face paint. The texture is just different, and it's things like that just make it feel... Well, the tagline is "Feel it," and you literally do. And do you know what's very interesting about all of this? This isn't even the finished product yet, because I did mention to Weeds before we came on air, the turnbuckles are still showing the old WWE logo, and so does the ramp on the Raw ramp. It's still got the old logo. So these are going to be changed. Most definitely 2K will be replacing these, because the apron has got the new WWE logo, and there's no possible way that WWE will let this game go out until it's been completely and utterly rebranded. That logo is gone. It's history. So, I mean, if they're still working on things like this at this time, then you've got to admit that there's still time to make those tweaks and minor improvements. And we've got a November release date now. So,
yeah, for the PS4 version. When I think the other one's out slightly before, isn't it?
Yeah,
PS3 and
end of
Xbox
October.
360. But yeah, it sounds like there might be a few last minute hitch because of a particular Philip Brooks. Who's turning into more of an arsehole week by week. But yeah, from whatever CM Punk might or might not want to do, I would like, if I was an ex-superstar, to be part of this game. Whether or not it just sounds like he's just being CM Punk again.
I thought it was nice that they didn't feature him in the trailer, to be perfectly honest, because that would have been the talking point and not actually acknowledging the work that 2K have done. And as well, like you've just said, in terms of who this actually affects, obviously he's got a lawsuit with the WWE. Totally understand if he's not being paid royalties that he's going to have the hump about that. But yeah, this doesn't detriment the WWE if he pulls the plug on his character and has himself removed from the game. This affects the fans, and this is something I've always said. We've said it in numerous commentaries. Sometimes Punk doesn't think about the fans, and he's done that via his Twitter quite a lot recently, and maybe he should bite the bullet on the game, because I think that the fans would appreciate it if he just allowed... It's not about having the game delayed or anything like that. It's about having the character, and the younger fans, the young generation want to play as your CM Punk, and they might not get the ability to do that if he gets pulled.
I mean, what's the next thing? He's going to start suing people that make a likeness of him and put him in the game and make him as a character.
Probably.
I get the royalty stuff, and if the WWE really wanted to be an arsehole about this, they could go on then. Take us to court, or whatever you want to do. Have your day, and you'll pay for that, and all that money you've been saving up, you're going to end up going through court with us about, for something that the WWE would very likely win, because they would say, we're using stuff, and when you were a superstar with us, we're offering to pay you royalties. No problem whatsoever. So if they really, but what they want to do, and what everyone wants still, is to bring him back into the fold. And to me at this point, I don't care if he's in the game or not. So
no, and the trailer kind of solidified that. I think everybody was very, very happy with the trailer, and I didn't even think about him at the time. It didn't even cross my mind to think, oh, you know, Punk's meant to be in this game, because the trailer was that awesome, and the look and the feel is there, and all we've got to hope now is that soon we'll start hearing about the My Career mode, have some NXT news. It's just looking bright and it's looking good, and it's the first time that I get that feeling that obviously last year we had a game which was almost half produced, but this time it feels like it's all 2K, and it feels like we're getting a game that may have, you know, the infrastructure behind it to power this type of game, and I've not had that in a long time.
No. From speaking to you already, any stuff that's going to come out is going to be, you're going to have it on your channel more or less straight away anyway, aren't you? So, and I know you've already got some very interesting ideas when it comes to some of the elements of this game. So yeah, I was just going to say I'm going to be keeping a track of your channel just so I can see what you're going to do when this game comes out, because I think this game is probably going to be the best WWE game that has been out for quite a while since 2K have taken it over. I've liked every way they've tried to promote it, from 2K14 last year. I thought they did a great job, to from the first trailer they had out earlier on with all the versions of the Sting from the orchestra, and now the gameplay trailer. So I don't think 2K is doing a bad job so far.
No, and expect another trailer coming probably, I don't know, maybe just a little bit before November. Obviously, we've seen the footage of Roman Reigns filming John Cena, Bray Wyatt in the boat. So we've seen quite a lot of footage. So expect another trailer to come very, very soon. And this one will probably be a superstar trailer. So yeah, hugely exciting, and I can't wait for this game, because I think for the YouTubers, the WWE Games YouTubers, it's going to be a bit of a goldmine, because hopefully we're going to get a game that we can do a lot with. So.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yes, indeed. So, I mean, that kind of draws us to a close. So we closed on a positive after having the commentary team as a negative.
So much ranting this week.
Yes, from you, particularly you this week, Leeds.
I brought you on my bandwagon with me by the end, though. You were ranting too.
Yes, indeed, indeed. I do have a shout out this week, and this shout out goes out to Jake Lewis. You are Daniels approved, but you also wanted to be Bagwell approved, so you've got the best of both worlds. Canadian Destroyer. Yeah. So there you go. Jake Lewis, you're definitely Daniels approved, you're definitely Bagwell approved, and I think that draws us to a close to another We Talk. Guys, don't forget as well to follow us on Twitter at Delzinski, Weeds_world. Got that right, didn't I?
You did indeed.
Nailed it. And, you know, obviously, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you fancy it, subscribe to Weeds ones as well. We don't post anything there, but you might as well do it just for shits and giggles.
I'm too busy, mate.
He's too busy ranting.
I'm too busy ranting. No one will listen to me. I was trying to shout at people in the street earlier on about Seth Rollins. They were like, who the fuck are you talking about?
Oh dear. So yeah, I mean, that draws us to a close, and obviously, as always, We Talk Wednesday will continue next week. So Weez, do you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Yeah, until next week, guys. Let's hope we get a beast, or if not a beast, at least an advocate on Raw next week, so we can find out where this Hell in a Cell is going, and I will see you guys next Wednesday.
Yes, let's hope the Walrus is charging into Monday Night Raw. See you later, guys. We are out.